to call it Fußball. German foosball from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Yay! Actually, might have screwed up the audio on that too, but it's okay. This show is in development. This show is in. This is a artisanal. How do you call it? A fresh baked.
Artisanal podcasting, locally produced,
right? Organic. We're organic.
Organically, locally made podcasting right here from the source, the Schnitzel Boys. This is the Deutschland Hour. We're going to talk about Deutschland, the Bundesliga, the Champions League, European soccer, right here. You still are going to go all red, though. That's going to just be the whole evening.
Maybe I'm futzing around. I really didn't futz around my colors yet. Let's see here.
If you are not following MLS, which you might not if you're listening to this, hour, but Stefan's team is in the final for MLS Cup. So
I have to switch our names behind. By the way, I'm doing that live. We're doing it live. I'm doing it live. I forgot to do this. Doing it live. Whoop! We just see our names. I'm trying to look what they see. Do they see the names? Just morph. Who knows? Hello, YouTube folk. YouTube Live. I am in Dreamland. We'll talk about it in the second hour because my boys. So we have the big Schnitzel show.
I just saw our names wander from one to the other. Very nice, very nice color though. Well done.
Yeah, is that sky blue? I think last week was a little too teal.
I think it's pretty solid. A pretty solid choice.
Yeah, and I got my red. So I'm definitely a red boy because in addition to Red Bulls, I got the RB Leipzig, I got Bayern München. There's just red in my life. I'm a red man. So I'm.
Wait,
all
you're
red
RB Leipzig is RB Leipzig is your team?
No, but they're part of the Red Bull Mario Gomez universe.
That doesn't matter.
Mario Gomez just handed my team the Eastern Conference title last weekend, so I got to give a nod to his boys in Germany. And like you said, Jurgen Klopp might be visiting this weekend. And when they're both there, I'd love to ask them what the difference between their job titles is. As Jurgen Klopp is the head of Red Bull Soccer, and Mario.
Those are not questions that are going to be well received. That's not the kind of talk that is going to endear you. That's not going to make you. That's not. You're not going to get invited to the after party with those kinds of queries.
I'm just curious, and I'm not there to be endeared. I'm there to get answers from my fans, the Schnitzel Cups. We need answers. But
I see.
I want to apologize to everybody, our regulars. Last week, we had a little audio difficulty. I didn't really know how to change it, so it was a little weirdy. And this week, a little effort. Hopefully, it's been fixed. I believe the audio intro, I think I might have just screwed up, but it's okay. As long as our conversation is good, I think we're in good shape. The intro bit is
very good. Very good. Technical.
We'll see afterwards. After the broadcast, I'll see, and then we'll see. We'll see. That's insane. But anyway, we are two German boys. In addition to being Americans, we're two Germans. And this is the Germany Hour. We have not given it a real hour in a couple weeks, so we wanted to touch on the music because this weekend we had Der Klassiker.
Der Klassiker. You got to say it like that.
Der Klassiker.
Der Klassiker.
Der Klassiker. A fake marketing thing. Marketing to American audiences. In Germany, don't really care. It's not really a Klassiker in Germany per se.
It's just not
really just trying to make it a super classical clone, but it's not taking Bjorn. It's just like no.
Well, it's a very lopsided rivalry for the most part.
I mentioned Wad like 90.
Aside from a couple of years where Dortmund were actually competitive.
I think last year, right, was the first time they finally won that thing, wasn't it? Like of late, wasn't it?
It's not like they never win it, but it's like
of late.
I mean, Frankfurt against Bayern is just as interesting this year as Dortmund against Bayern. However, in this case, Dortmund did well.
You think it was a home game?
What's your take?
Well, the game was 1-1, so now they're womp. Like the whole Der Klassiker, 2 teams enter, 1 team dies. It's like, no. Bayern München usually wins, and then sometimes they tie. And this is one of those. It's at home at Dortmund, so they tied. So no one collapsed. But Dortmund scored early. with a goal from. Why did I start saying that sentence? I didn't have
Ganassi?
the answer. Wasn't it a defender?
Wait, what was it?
Anyway, they got themselves a goal early. Yamal Musiala scored the late winner. That I know. They got
Oh,
themselves a goal
it was
early.
Gittins. It was
Bruno
Jamie
Kitten.
Gittins. Jamie
Bruno.
Gittins, no longer Bino, formerly
Kitten.
Bino.
Yeah, Kitty Cat
Jamie
Kitten.
Bino, Jamie Gittins, whose career has the trajectory that we were all hoping, or I mean, you mostly were hoping Gio Reyna would have, but he is he's doing quite well. Although Gio Reyna got the start, yeah.
Well, Bruno Kittens. What's the name again for real? Kitty Cat Kittens.
Jamie
Giddens, I guess.
Jamie Gibbons.
He's on the track that all the other British stars are. He's going to be on the bench
Gittins.
at Chelsea
No, it's
next
Gittins.
year.
I said Gittins.
Gittins.
Jamie
He's going to be on the
Gittins.
bench. Chelsea's going to pay $100 million from over the summer, and he's going to get 0 minutes sitting on the bench next year in England, and he's going to get loaned back, and he's going to get lost. He's on that great track, the Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho.
Jude Bellingham is
I know he's doing well.
Starter for Real Madrid.
Maybe the Kylian Mbappe track. Then how about that for that? Or that French guy who went to Barcelona. Was never the same again. Forgot his name.
French guy went to Barcelona.
Him and Aubameyang were a pair, and then Pulisic was also there towards the end of those three guys. And then Pulley, who went off to Chelsea and got lost. Just all these great Dortmund exports who are just the best in the world, get paid a lot of money, and then they don't really hit after that.
And then the Erling Haalands and the Jude Bellinghams of the world who leave Dortmund and are never heard of again.
Yeah. No, those are two exceptions. That's true, and I guess Pulley has pulled himself together back in Italy. Good for him. No, but these players, you know what I'm saying? Like especially at like a club like Chelsea, they'll just get lost. So anyway, I'm just being a little facetious here.
Chelsea's
Bruno Kittens is on that track to go to England and be destroyed by the press, to be ruined and destroyed.
Bruno Kittens.
Yeah,
the commentators at the games said he should be called up to the English national team.
That's what I'm saying. He's on that path. He's one of which I love about Germany is they give kids opportunities, and Brits can't get opportunities in England. So the Brits go to Germany, and they play in Germany, and they're doing great. And then before we know it, they're in the Champions League final against Real Madrid, and then being bought by Real Madrid. But Gio Reyna at 1-1, Gio Reyna came on the field with 5 minutes left, and I was like, Gio, get the winner. It's your triumphant return. Get your winner. He did not get the winner, unfortunately, but he was on the field for 5 solid minutes. We got ourselves some Gio time. Gio slowly getting some minutes again.
Oh, I thought. Okay, well, Musiala got the late equalizer.
You said Nuri Sahin did well because Nuri Sahin is on the chop sheet, right? He's on our heat list, and with Pellegrino fired and all sorts, Nuri Sahin's probably top of the list right now, right? Maybe.
Well, he had a good week, though. I thought. I mean, he had a great week, had a great win in the Champions League, and then they did pretty well against this team, I thought.
Okay, well, they're at home. They were 1-0 leading pretty confidently through most of the game. That's true. It's definitely a much stronger game they've had against them in the past. Usually Bayern München's up 5-0 by the 30th minute. Remember those old days where it's like, yeah, Klassiker. Who's going to win? Exactly. And then at minute 30, it's 5-0.
20 minutes in, it's already right. That's often how it goes. And this was not that. So
you're giving Nuri Sahin mad props.
I think, I mean, some credit where credit is due, I guess. Other teams are. I mean, we have RB Leipzig just collapsing in front of our eyes. Stuttgart definitely struggling in both the league and the Champions League. So compared to that, Dortmund, I mean, they looked like they were on a similar trajectory, and it seems like there's some uptick there. You wouldn't say?
Yeah, you mean with Dortmund? You're saying?
Yeah.
Well, RB Leipzig is still ahead of Dortmund. I guess Dortmund is climbing back.
Yeah, but like, right. Yeah, I mean, they all the Verfolger, all the potential rivals have really struggled, except Frankfurt. who are going pretty strong and are now the closest contenders. But everybody else has kind of had their ups and downs, and Dortmund seems like they're perhaps on the upswing a little bit.
No, you're right. Yeah,
Um,
they're fifth place. They're back in a European spot. They're fifth place. But yeah, I didn't realize because Stuttgart has been playing really well aesthetically. But yeah, I didn't realize but they're really struggling in Europe. Even though they challenge Real Madrid, they're just not getting the points. And the Bundesliga, they're ninth place. So it looks like VfB Stuttgart. They play well. Like I like their aesthetics. I like how they play. They play confidently. But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, they're not racking up any
but they
points.
give up they give up a lot of goals, and they're not scoring enough. Yeah, they had a really awful loss in the Champions League. It was 5-1.
Against that, where in Zagreb or something? No, where were they at?
Yeah, against a
No,
team that
Bratislava or something.
Bratislava, against a team that is not no, it's Belgrade, Red Star Belgrade. It was.
Yeah, I'm looking
So
at that.
not a team that you would think they would necessarily lose to. Certainly not 5-1, and this is doubly problematic because in this iteration of the Champions League, where we have the large table, the 36 team table, goal differential is going to matter, and so.
Well, also you're supposed to win in Belgrade. You know, like Red
I
Star
mean,
Belgrade's not supposed to beat any Bundesliga club by 5 goals, even if you're Bochum. I don't care what people say. Bochum's not supposed to lose 5-1 in Belgrade. So
okay.
Stuttgart
Well,
definitely
I
is.
mean, if Stuttgart does, then Bochum certainly would probably. But
Yeah, but are they
anyway,
supposed to? They're not supposed to.
supposed to. I mean, they are. They now have 4 points, and Red Star has 3. But up to that point, they had 4 games, 4 losses. So yeah, you're right. They should not. You wouldn't think that they would lose this game 5-1. And now it's a little bit a tale of two feast or famine for the German teams. Dortmund did well; they're in 4th place. Leverkusen did well; they're in 6th. Bayern are, after a rough start, they are now on the upswing and are hoping they're only a point off of direct qualification. So those 3 teams are all still hoping, and Bayern kind of have a little bit of an easier schedule from here on out. So we have 3 teams that are fighting or hoping to make it in the top 8 and qualify directly, and we have 2 teams who really are fighting to survive it all. Like RB Leipzig now 0 points out of 5 games, lost again at Inter, 1-0. I mean, there's no shame in that, but they have 0 points, so they are kind of getting to the point where
Probably by next round they'll be officially eliminated. They can't last much longer.
I mean, they could, right. I mean, you kind of need. I think according we said before this that you probably need to average more than a point. Like 9 points is probably about the minimum. So that would mean they need to win their remaining games and make up some goal differential. So
herein lies the rub. So you know how it's a new format this year, and we've got format watch. How do we feel about it? Checking every week. This is one of those things with the new format. It's hard to tell who's in and who's out. Like we're only going to know on match day 8, right? Because I don't know. Like it's hard to. There's such a big swing. You're first or you're last. You're first or you're last. And in the old days, it was much easier to tell like who's. It was like these 2 are through and these 2 are not through. And it was much easier to tell within the groups what the situations were.
Oh, that's for sure true. But I think that's also that in a way makes it more interesting. Maybe.
Yeah. Well,
I mean that there is still.
Because look at RB Leipzig, there's 0 points in 5, so you think they'll be eliminated. But let's pretend they win the next 3 games, they get 9 points. Maybe they're still through to the round of. Maybe they're through the
Could
playoffs.
be. I mean, they're going to be on the bubble depending on goal differential. No, that could be enough. But are they going to win the next 3 games?
But it's just hard to tell. It's just this table is wide open, and really, we're watching the games. I'm approaching it, and I've heard someone else in a podcast say it, and I agreed with it. I'm approaching it by enjoying the games, watching the games, but I now have no sense of the greater context of it all. You know what I mean? Like if they're winning or losing, I mean, it's good they won, it's bad they lost. But as far as the greater context on the league table, it's pretty wide open and kind of hard to follow, or hard to get a grasp on it. You just have to wait until match day 8 before you look at it, before you really look at it. Does that make sense? Because, RB Leipzig is terrible, but maybe they can still make it through. I don't know.
Yeah, but barely. Like I think they're pretty much out. They're pretty much done. I think you can count if you have 0 points now, you're practically out.
Right. So
And
Stuttgart and Leipzig are on the outside looking in. They're not looking great.
I mean,
But of our
Stuttgart
five clubs,
could still do it, but they would need some more points. There was some talk by Ralf Hasenhüttl about how difficult Leipzig's schedule was, and we knew that they had sort of the harder path, but still, like 0 points. And this Belgrade
Wolfsburg
game
head
was one
coach
that they
said
had.
that the RB Leipzig had a difficult schedule.
Well, he's a former Leipzig guy. He had some pity. Celtic got another point against Bruges. I mean, I guess it is. I don't know. I don't find it that. I mean, you get a sense of where people are.
However, of the 5 German teams, we got 3 in, 2 outside looking in right now.
Yeah. 3
One of those
in
teams, though, is doing really, really well in Europe, particularly, and that team is again Borussia Dortmund. I learned that outside of Real Madrid, which can't be okay. Sometimes I get confused by stats here. They said outside of Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund is the longest undefeated streak in European play. Continue. They haven't lost. The last loss they had was the Champions League final of last season to Real Madrid. And Real Madrid has been losing, right? Didn't they lose the last game?
Yeah, they're not doing well at all. They're in 24th place. They lost to Liverpool. Liverpool's beaten everybody. Jurgen Klopp left, and you would have thought.
Yeah.
You would have thought there would have been a little bit of a lull, but no. Liverpool is doing better than ever. Turns out
real deal. Yeah.
Turns out Jurgen was holding them back.
To really be what they need, I guess. Good
I
for
mean,
them.
so far
What a random appointment. I never heard about the guy. You know, this Amari.
No,
These British clubs look deep.
He's been doing
club
well.
for these coaches.
Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola is in a little bit of trouble with Man City. Man City gave up a 3-0 lead against Feyenoord, only to tie 3-3, and they now have gone. They lost to Liverpool this weekend in the Premier League, and they have now, I think, winless in 7, which I don't think has ever happened in Pep Guardiola's coaching career. So there is some.
He needed
which we will discuss this. We will discuss Pep Guardiola's future in the USA Hour. So
I don't know why. I don't know why we would.
You all just stay tuned for that. And
Between
I'll tell you
what's
what's happening to him.
Between Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, only one of them is going to be handing an MLS Cup to New York Red Bulls next week. But are you saying that Pep and Klopp are going to meet each other head to head in New York? That'd be fun. As they're like
perhaps,
or maybe they're both going to co-coach in Miami. We'll see. Anywho,
what? Oh,
why would they?
Anyway, that's the Champions League. I like the big table. I like all the numbers.
I'm not saying I dislike it. It's just a different intellectual experience. It's like,
well, I think with 2 games. But in the group stage with 2 games to go, everybody's still in as well.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's Champions League. German teams have been struggling, but 3/5 are still looking to make it through. So I'll take it.
But Leipzig can focus. Leipzig can now focus on the Bundesliga.
Yeah, they're 4th in the Bundesliga. We got Seba S here in the chat. Mainz are in 7th place. Frankfurt are catching up to Bayern.
Amazing.
Frankfurt are becoming the darlings of the season. They are 2nd place. They're having, like you said, Bjorn, they had a big summer where they bought a lot of big players, and it's really working for them. They're having a really solid season this year.
Yeah, they said they were going to contend, and they are delivering on that promise.
They're doing it, which I love. Frankfurt and Dortmund both went aggressive for players this summer to compete, and I love it. That's kind of what you want to see. And I love that Frankfurt did it. I love that Dortmund did it. And it seems to be working better in the Frankfurt office than the Dortmund office overall.
Well, we'll see.
But Dortmund's still looking good in Europe. Sorry, Bjorn. It's from Seba S, but I think Bochum are done. They're going to be relegated. I hope you guys can do something in January. Yeah, Seba S, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, I've made peace with that. I think I have given up on the season a while ago. Because it's not, squad's just not good enough. Dieter Hecking is. I mean, this was a decent showing again, but in Augsburg. For the first time, we finally played a team after a month or month plus. We finally played a team that's not in the Champions League, but we still lost. And out of those 4 games, we got 1 point prior, and now Augsburg nothing. And it was a close-ish. The result was close, but it didn't look like anything was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I think we might end the season with single-digit points. There's really not a lot of hope on the Bochum side.
Single-digit points, that'd be probably a record, I think. But
yeah, I got to look up
give
the
him some
Tasmania
time.
Berlin.
I've been listening to Dieter Hecking's post-match comments as of late. Does he have any nuggets of wisdom?
I did not listen to this one. I mean, last time the Leverkusen point, we all celebrated as if we had won something, but it's 2 points in 12 games. I mean,
yeah, Bochum's going to need January. Let's put that. Let's hope there's a totally different second act to the season. We'll see.
Well, how is that going to where those?
They get along. They finally get their hands on Gio Reyna, for crying out loud. It should have happened over the summer.
Oh, right.
Get your hands on Gio Reyna in January for half the season alone, and all problems will be solved.
He will turn it all around. All right.
Yeah. Everybody. St. Pauli, which is one of the clubs we were looking down at the beginning of the season, has really turned themselves around. They got 3-1 over Holstein Kiel. Holstein Kiel, perhaps your bigger brother in the relegation hole of this year.
Kiel also struggling. And Heidenheim, who were doing so well early, and you called before the season as a relegation contender, are now finding themselves right in the mix there. They
lost to Eintracht Frankfurt 4-0 in Heidenheim. And Heidenheim's got Bayern München next, I believe, right? It's for the Bavarian.
They have won there. They have they've lost their last 6 Bundesliga games in a row. So that's going to do it. And so they're also.
Thank God for bearing their blushes. Mainz had 2-0 over Hoffenheim. The Hoffenheim getting rid of the American coach has not solved their problems. Surprise, surprise. So CBS's Mainz is doing well in 7th place. What a good turnaround from them, as they were relegation fodder the last couple of seasons. Dortmund and Bayern, we already had. Freiburg beat Gladbach 3-1, and Wolfsburg beat Leipzig 5-1, which now makes a lot more sense with that Hasenhüttl quote. To try not to, I'm sure he did it in a way to let his players not get too confident about it. But Wolfsburg with a good 5-1 win over Leipzig. Stuttgart and Werder splitting points 2-2. Augsburg getting a 1-0 over Bochum. Leverkusen beating Union Berlin. And yeah, I guess it's up probably. So that was the weekend. And the team to watch, the darlings this year, every year in the Bundesliga, not every year as of late, but usually there's always some darling team that pop up. Remember, Wolfsburg won, and Werder Bremen won, and Stuttgart won. There's always some team that shows up. And this year's team looks to be
Eintracht Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Last year it was Leverkusen. This year it's Frankfurt. So on your Frankfurt. You spent the money. Let's hope you get something out of it. Maybe the Pokal. And speaking of the Pokal
also, I just want to throw that in. The Harry Kane is out for a few games, so I'm not sure.
Maybe Heidenheim will get a point this weekend.
If that'll affect Bayern. No, I don't think Heidenheim probably will not get a point.
Are they playing Regensburg? Let's check out some of these Pokal matchups.
Oh, there is the Pokal.
Stuttgart.
That's going on. That's going on starting tomorrow. We have Bayern against Leverkusen tomorrow night.
That's the big new Klassiker, right? Even though it's not a classic.
Well, it's the current Klassiker.
But are Leverkusen really? They're not the threat they were last year. But that's the big one. Bayern Leverkusen tomorrow. Then Werder hosting Darmstadt, Köln hosting Hertha, and then Wolfsburg hosting Hoffenheim. Okay. Karlsruhe, Augsburg, and RB
Leipzig, Frankfurt. These are some big games.
These are some big, and this is the round I think before the holidays. So I think the next round is the quarterfinals, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
So getting into the quarterfinals by the winter pause is always like a good goal to have for most clubs. For Bayern München, the expectation, but for other clubs, it's like sweet because then at the quarterfinal stage, you can really start to think, how far can we get into this thing? But yeah, little Jan Regensburg, I don't know. This will be a lot of fun. Between Leipzig and Frankfurt, you give it to Frankfurt. Between Bayern and Leverkusen, I think I still give it to Bayern. The criticism of Victor
Perhaps.
Company, which is still real, is can he win the big games? Right, he's been doing pretty well with the club, but can he win the big games? He did get a win over PSG, so there you go. That's proof in the yes category. But tomorrow will be another big test for him. There's a little pressure. It's around a 16 game. It's by Leverkusen, the defending champions. I think it's in Leverkusen, right? Oh no, it's at home.
No, it's at home.
Yeah, so he's got some help. But yeah, that'll be another test on the Vincent Company poll. But overall, I think he's done pretty well this season. Don't you think? Essentially,
I think,
hire,
very, very, very surprisingly well. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, the just briefly, but also the Zweite Bundesliga is nuts. Everybody's got a chance. It's so tight. From I mean, Paderborn now managed to with their win managed to create a little bit of distance, but everybody else between second. No, not Schalke, but from
they're having
second.
thoughts. Yeah. They're getting
From
ready for
second to 12th, from second place to 12th place is 4 points. So that's nothing, basically.
I can't play my drops. I'm trying to think.
And
I have to send maybe email it to you or something. We have to do a check-in because they weren't doing super well in the Bundesliga 2 last time I checked.
Well, but now they were in fourth. They were, because this is like the Zweite Bundesliga is like the Champions League table because everybody's so close. It's like if you get away and you shoot up, and if you lose. So Köln was briefly doing quite well. Now but they dropped points at home against Hannover, so they're now back to 7th place. But it's like it's a roller coaster. Hamburger, HSV are in second.
Hell yeah, let's go Hamburg.
Kaiserslautern are third. Düsseldorf had the lead for a while. They're now down to 8th. They're just 1 point behind. It's wild. The Zweite Bundesliga, as we've been saying, the real Super League, the true Super League is Bundesliga 2. However,
from Hamburg
Schalke are not in it. Schalke are struggling. They're fighting relegation. Relegation also very close. Except Jan Regensburg. Jan Regensburg are the Bochum or Kiel of the second Bundesliga. They're a little behind, but everybody else is in it.
Yeah, from second to 12th, from Hamburg to Nuremberg, they're split by 4 points. So yeah, most of these guys have 23 or 22. Yeah, you're right. That's funny. Köln is in it. Gerhard Struber is living to fight another day. I would love to see Hamburger finally make it up. Hannover have a soft spot for Kaiserslautern. Isn't Miro Klose coaching Kaiserslautern these days? Klose is coaching down there somewhere.
I don't know. It's not Mark.
No,
it's not Klose. Markus Anfang.
Der kann nichts anfangen.
Markus Anfang is the coach of Kaiserslautern.
Yeah, and then in English that means Marcos beginning. Is that what that means?
Yeah, Marcus beginning.
Right?
Marcus start. Yeah,
he's the head coach. Miro Klose is the head coach of Nuremberg. So he's at the very bottom of the party.
But he's they're like the first team. Well, I guess they're still in it. Yeah, he's got a chance.
One win and it'll be second place again.
One win, and everybody's in it. So yeah, Bundesliga 2, very hard to predict who's going up. But Paderborn, it's got a little bit of a cushion for now. So
if you could pick the promotion teams this year, who would you pick?
Like who do I think is going to do it, or who would I like to?
Who would you like?
Well, I think I think Kaiserslautern are a traditional Bundesliga club. I would like to see them. They're also kind of, they're kind of in an underserved area, maybe a little bit. But,
they were a big club up until they were one of those teams that were hanging out in the bottom of the third division.
They were the crazy team who won the Bundesliga while in the first year after being promoted. That's never happened before since. So I think
also a traditional club, and that's where the Walter brothers are from.
So I think that would be a fun team to see back in the Bundesliga. Maybe HSV. I have some kind of childhood fond feelings.
Those are my
about
two as well. Kaiserslautern and
about
HSV.
so I think those two teams I would kind of root for, although they've been, I mean, they've been really just close and haven't done it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of teams that are traditionally Bundesliga teams. That's why we keep calling it the Super League. Paderborn, I don't know.
Yeah, that I could care less. They chickens. Kyrie Shelton's Paderborn.
They tried, yeah, I know, NYCFC legend Kyrie Shelton. I mean, they've been in the Bundesliga. That didn't go so well, but I don't know.
They're an elevator club, right? They hop
they're up there. I definitely am not rooting for Gerhard Struber, but although I used to be a Köln fan as a child, so I like the team, but
I do like Cohen, but yeah, I'm not a Struber guy. What he did to my Red Bulls, thank God, it's not a But yeah, so yeah, I think Kaiserslautern and HSV would be my two to tip. I think I'm in the same boat. HSV because they're the big northern club, and for whatever reason, they just can't get their act together. And Kaiserslautern because they've wormed their way back up from the third division, and I would love to see them succeed and hang out in the Bundesliga again. But back to the chat. Seba S has a couple of questions, I think, for us. Seba S, sorry, Bjorn, I already with the. Seba S has some love. Speaking of coaches, has some love for a guy we don't talk about enough. We should give some real props. Bo Henriksen. Bo Henriksen has been an amazing coach. He's turned around a Mainz team that went from 17th to 13th last season, and now they're 7th. So Bo Henriksen's done some really good work at Mainz. And they said, you guys need to beat teams like Holstein Kiel, St. Pauli, and Heidenheim. He's referring to Bochum. It's like, yeah, but they're not going to. They're going to tie those teams at best.
Unfortunately, not.
I swear this season is so bad at the bottom, you can get 10 wins and you would probably be safe. Yeah, well, I mean, 10 wins. They've got 0 wins now, right?
10 wins. Where are those going to come from? We're going to win every other game? Yeah, no, I mean, 10 wins is usually 11 wins is almost certainly always enough. 10 wins is usually enough. So yeah, I mean, that's not going to happen. I don't think there's going to be any money for January transfers. I'm not feeling optimistic. Bo Henriksen, his hair bugs me. I don't know. He's got that weird.
Well, if that's all that bugs you, then you're in good shape.
That's not a reason to. But he's been very successful. Mainz is looking good.
Bochum needs to sign a partnership with Rheinmetall. They need their own defense contract sponsor. Get some money going. You should call Northrop Grumman and be like, listen, you should sponsor Bochum. Okay. During the whole Dortmund game during the Klassiker, there was just a Rheinmetall ads in the background being like, adapting to a changing world was all said over and over again. It's like, yeah, we get it. You make weapons for Israel. We get it. That's what adapting to a changing world is. You sell weapons to Russia. We get it.
The fans don't like it.
Neither does
they protest.
But anyway, as a Mainz 05 fan, I'm scared to play Wolfsburg on the road and then Bayern München in Mainz and then Frankfurt. Yeah, that's a tricky 3 games. But Seba, in the Bundesliga season, you're going to have your tough stretches and your easy stretches. And the fact that you're 7th already means you should get hopefully some points, but don't expect to get 9. If you get 1 or 2 points out of that, you should be in good shape.
Well, and you have a little bit of a cushion.
And Wolfsburg is vulnerable. Don't be fooled.
Also, Bayern on the road. Bayern on the road without Harry Kane could get a point out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, who's filling for Harry Kane? I guess it'll be.
There's been a little bit of talk. Well,
maybe Serge Gnabry will go up front, or it'll be Olise. He's up there. I don't know. I
mean, he's not really.
In the old days, it would be Eriko Choupo-Moting, but he's going to the New York Rebels. So, and I believe he left the club over the summer. Right? I don't even know where he is these days. Where's Choupo-Moting these days?
Oh,
get by the human victories.
I don't know. Well, he was saying. Company was saying he thinks it could be Thomas Müller, it could be Matisse Tell, it could be Gnabry, Olise, Kingsley Coman, perhaps not, he said. But Leroy.
Update, by the way, although it's a rumor, it's here on his Wikipedia profile. Looks like it's official. So he wasn't.
What?
You didn't know that? I was going to say for the next hour. On December 1st, it was announced that Choupo-Moting had joined MLS side New York Rebels on a free transfer.
Is that true?
But supposedly a goal this season, a 5-0 win over Bochum. And then he left the club at the end of last season. His contract expired and he left the club. So he's been without a club for 6 months. But starting in February or whatever, he will be a New York Rebels player.
Wow. I had not heard this.
That means he's not in Bayern to cover an injured Harry Kane. That's why I started that.
Well, no, he's not there, but Vincent Company has some other people.
And
they have said they are not looking at the transfer market. They cannot afford a second Harry Kane, and if they did not have anyone to take a spot for a little while, then the squad would not be healthy. It would not be a healthy squad. And so this is Sportdirektor Christoph Freund saying.
But they can also, it's also good.
They're gonna just make do.
It's a good opportunity for a kid from the academy to maybe come up for a couple games. It's always
they're gonna make do with Müller, Tell, Gnabry, Olise, and perhaps Leroy Sané.
Oh, they're gonna have to figure it out with those guys. I mean, like they'll be fine. Those are all world-class technical.
That's gonna be the Choupo-Moting. I mean, all right, we'll talk more about
good signing.
I mean, I think so, right? I think that's like exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yes, it is, baby. Pass that scalpel. We need to finish
it. Is this going to be? This has to be the end. This has to mark the end of your
struggles,
complaints about your front office, right?
True.
Like, no more ranting.
That's right.
You got your Forsberg. You're in the final. You got the Forsberg. You got Choupo-Moting. What is there to?
Right.
What's there to?
We're still playing our kids. We're still playing our kids.
Front office is
Jürgen
listening to our podcast.
We got Mario Gomez hanging out. I'm telling you, New York Red Bulls is
very good.
Number one team. Yeah, it's Seb S would like to throw a little comment to Jonathan Burkhardt. He's a good for Mainz. He's 24 years old, 9 goals in 12 matches. Those are good numbers for Jonathan Burkhardt. Could Frankfurt steal the league and win it? How would Germany react if Frankfurt won this season?
I think it's.
Okay. Sorry, Bjorn, you go first. You're more positive than I was. You go first.
I think things have gone well for Bayern, but I don't think they're going to just walk through this whole season. I think especially now that they're missing Harry Kane, I think that's going to make a difference. And if Frankfurt can keep this up, and they've been extremely solid. So, I mean, they're the challenger right now. I think it's possible. If the Harry Kane curse is real, it's going to be Frankfurt.
Well, I don't believe in real curses because the New York Red Bulls have a curse called the Caricola curse. And we've quote unquote broken it a few times already. You can't, you really can't break a curse more than once. But when the problems come back, so does the curse. But anywho, the Harry Kane curse just because he's on Tottenham. How many titles were Tottenham supposed to win? And then he's on Bayern. And it was really weird they didn't win last year. That's true. But Bayer Leverkusen were just so dang good. They were like the best team in Europe.
No, it wasn't weird but it was. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway,
Frankfurt are fun to watch. I guess this is making me think that I should check out Mainz a little more. Sebas, you have convinced me that I'm going to pay attention to Mainz
and Frankfurt and Köln. We got to start listening to our fans here. But I believe that Eintracht Frankfurt are maybe going to have a good positive run to second place and get themselves a Champions League spot. I think that's what's going on in Frankfurt. I think, there's very little, with all the hubbub of Bayern München as of late, there's been very little this season. I think they like it that way. Company's been working out. They've been winning. Bayern München are back to being the big old Bayern München. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to run away with the league like they've done in the past, but I think it's still their league to lose. Even without Harry Kane, I mean, I don't think it's going to really get in their way. I mean, they've got all, they just should be good to go. But this will be an interesting challenge for a young coach. Now that he doesn't have his key player for a bit. But Thomas knows how to score goals. But, if Eintracht Frankfurt win this year, I'm all about it because a Bundesliga with a different winner every year is just fun for everybody. Seba S wants to look at the Jonathan Burkhardt goal against Hoffenheim.
We're grateful. We're grateful that Frankfurt are hanging in there.
Challenger. And the questions again, I say this a lot, but questions for RB Leipzig, right? What's their deal? Is Marco Rosa got long left? Like are they just there to produce players, or are they going to actually maybe win a title one of these days?
Well, they were looking very good early in the year. They were challenging, and I was singing their praises for continuity and
Right? They
yeah,
kept
but
Travis
right now
Smith.
things are not going well. And yeah, question marks.
Question marks. But there you go. Do you have any other thoughts? We got the Pokal, we got the Bundesliga coming up before our winter
Yeah.
break.
I mean, we should switch to the USA hour because you have so much to be thankful for. And the end of my team season, when I was so despondent, then took a surprise turn.
The next day, Nick Cushing was fired. New York NYCFC joined 15 other MLS clubs, and that they have a vacant head coach
go. I really was surprised. I was surprised by that. Yeah. But we'll talk about it on the other side.
See y'all. Join us in the USA Hour. We're going to talk Rebels and the Traumfinale.
The Stefan Schnitzel's Traumfinale.
They're going to carry
before the season, if you had to pick which two teams would be in the final, this would have been it. Yeah.
I get to see one of two things. My New York Rebels lift the title after 24 years, or Marco Reus finally wins the title in his long, storied German career. I'll be there to witness either or. And no matter what happens, I'll be carried on either Marco Reus's shoulders or Emil Forsberg's shoulders. No, actually, I'm going to be carried on Marco Reus's shoulders or Jürgen Klopp's shoulders, depending on what happens. And they're going to yell.
You're going to be led outside of the. You're going to be led out the stadium because you're
by security.
You're asking, because you're asking controversial questions.
Yeah, but you know who works security? Me. Those are my boys.
So you have nothing to fear.
I'm in the state of California. I'm a registered security guard. You have to have a license.
so you can do whatever you want. You will.
I can do whatever I want.
Cannot touch you.
Security. They're my boys. Is why. They're my boys right there. And my sister.
Well,
boys and my
this is the reason to tune in right there. What is going to happen?
But will Stefan pay $500 for?
Will he be streaking across the field? One of his boys will
join in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
All this soon in several minutes over the USA Hour. Tschüss. Bis dann oder bis nächste Woche.